So hi guys, today's video we're going to tackle the summary of chapter 11, which is build a small network. So here I present to you the PowerPoint presentation, a little bit PowerPoint presentation for the summary of this chapter. So let's start. So the first one is the traffic management. So what is traffic management? So the network administrator should be considered the various type of traffic and their treatment in the network design. So the routers and switches in a small network should be configured to support real-time traffic, such as voice and video. So in a distinct manner relative to other data traffic. In fact, um, a good network design will classify traffic carefully according to priority. So in the end, the goal for a good network design, even for a small network, is to enhance the productivity of employees and minimize network downtime. So the next one will be the protocol analysis. So when trying to determine how to manage network traffic, especially as the network grows, so it is important to understand the type of traffic that is crossing the network as well as the current traffic flow. So if the types of traffic are unknown, um, a protocol analyzer will help identify the traffic and its source. So to determine traffic flow patterns, it is important to capture traffic during peak utilization times to get a good representation of the different traffic types. So perform the capture on different network segments. Some traffic will be local to a particular segments. Then let's proceed for the next one. Will be the type of threats. So type of threats is whether wired or wireless computer network are essential to everyday activities. So individuals and organizations alike depend on their computers and networks. So intrusion by unauthorized person can result in costly network outages and loss of work. So a top network can be devastating and can result in loss of time and money due to damage or the important information or assets. So intruders can gain access to a network through software vulnerabilities. So intruders can gain access through software vulnerabilities. Again, hardware attacks or through guessing someone's username and password. So there are the types of threats, which is the information theft, data loss and manipulation, identity theft, disruption or service or DOS, and many more. So first, information theft. So information theft is breaking into a computer to obtain confidential information. Information can be used or sold for various purposes. For example, or for instance, stealing an organization's proprietary information such as research and development information. So the next one will be the data loss and manipulation. So data loss and manipulation is breaking into a computer to destroy or alter the data records. For examples of data loss, sending a virus that reformats a computer hard drive. So example of data manipulation are breaking into a record system to change information such as the price of an item. So the next one will be the identity theft. So the identity theft, this is a form of information theft where personal information is stolen for the purpose of taking over someone's identity. So using this information, an individual can obtain legal documents, apply for credit, and make an unauthorized online purchases identity theft is a growing problem, costing billions of dollars per year. So the last one is disruption of service or DOS, or what you call DDoS. So this is preventing legitimate user from accessing services to which they should be entitled. Example, denial of service or DOS, attack on server, network device, or network communication link. So sa physical security, which is an equal important vulnerability is the physical security of devices. An attacker can deny the use of network resources if those resources can be physical compromised. So the four classes of physical threats are the hardware threats. So an attacker can deny the use of network resources if those resources can be physical compromised. So there are four classes of physical threats or the hardware threats. So physical damage to server, routers, switches, cabling plant, and workstation. So the next one is environmental threats. So temporary extreme, too hot or too cold, or humidity extreme, too wet or too dry. So electrical threats, voltage spike, insufficient supply voltage, brownouts, unconditioned power, noise, and total power loss. So the last one is maintenance threat. So for handling of key electrical components, electrostatic discharge, lack of critical spare parts, poor cabling, and poor labeling. So vulnerabilities is the degree of weakness which is inherent in every network and devices. So this includes routers, switches, desktops, servers, and even security devices. So typically, the network devices under attack are endpoints such as server and desktop computer. So there, um, so let's proceed for the malware, which is malware or malicious code or malcode is a short for malicious software. So it is code or software that is specifically designed to damage, disrupt, steal, or inflict bad or illegitimate action on data, hosts, or networks. Viruses, worm, and Trojan horses are types of malware. So the first one is viruses. So a computer virus is a type of malware that propagates by inserting a copy of insult into and becoming part of another program. So it spread from one computer to another, leaving infection as it's traveled. So viruses can range in severity from causing mildly annoying effects to damaging data or software and causing denial of service or those conditions. Almost all viruses are attached to an executable file, which means the virus may exist on a system but will not be active or able to spread until a user runs or opens the malicious host file or program. So when the host code is executed, the viral code is executed as well. So normally, the host program keeps functioning after it's infected by the virus. However, some viruses overwrite other programs with copies of themselves, which destroy the host program altogether. Viruses spread when the software or document they are attached to is transferred from the computer to another using network. This file sharing or infected email attachment. So the next one will be the worms. So computer worms are similar to viruses in that they replicate functional copies of themselves and can cause the same type of damage. So in contrast to viruses, which require the spreading of an infective host file, worms are standalone software and do not require a host program or human help to propagate. So a worm does not need to attach to a program to infect a host and enter a computer through a vulnerability in the system. Worm take advantage of system features to travel through network unaided. So the last one is the Trojan horse, which is a Trojan is another type of malware named after the wooden horse the Greek used in infiltrate Troy. So it is a harmful piece of software that looks legitimate. So user are typically tricked into loading and executing it on their system. So after it is activated, it can achieve any number of attacks on the host, from irritating the users or popping or up windows or changing desktop, to damaging the host, deleting files, stealing data, or activating and spreading often malware, other malwares such as viruses. So Trojan horses are also known to create backdoors to give malicious user access to the system. So unlike viruses and worms, Trojan horses do not reproduce by infecting other files, nor do they self-replicate. Trojan horse must spread through user interactions such as opening an email attachment or downloading and running a file from the internet. So, reconnaissance attacks, which is in addition to malicious code attacks. So, network attacks can be classified into three major categories, which is the reconnaissance attacks, the discovery and mapping of system services or vulnerabilities, access attack, the unauthorized manipulation of data, system access or user privileges, and denial of service, the disabling or corruption of network system or services. So for reconnaissance attack, external attacker can use internet tools such as the NS lookup and WIS utilities. So to easily determine the IP address and space assigned to a given corporation or entity, after the IP address space is determined, an attacker can then ping the publicly available IP addresses to identify the addresses that are active. So the access attacks. So access attacks exploit vulnerabilities in authentication services, FT file transfer protocol services, and web services to gain entry to web accounts, confidential databases, and other sensitive information. An access attack allows an individual to gain unauthorized access to information that they have no right to view. So access attacks can be classified into four types: the password attack, trust exploitation, and fourth, redirection. So the denial of service attack. So denial of service or DOS attacks are the most publicized form of attack and also among the most difficult to eliminate. Even with the attacker community, those attacks are regarded as trivial and considered bad form because they require so little effort to execute. But because of their ease of implementation and potentiality significant damage, those attacks deserve special attention from security administrator. So those attacks take many forms. Ultimately, they prevent authorized people from using a service by consuming system resources. So to help prevent this attack, it is important to stay up to date with the latest security updates for operating system and application. So for example, the ping of death is no longer a threat because updates to operating system have fixed the vulnerability that it's exploited. So that's the end of the PowerPoint. Then let's go to the summary of the chapter 11 in NetACAD, which is the build a small network. So in order to meet user requirements, even small network requires planning and designing. Planning ensures that all requirements, cost factor, and deployment options are given due consideration. An important part of network design is reliability, scalability, and availability. So, supporting and growing a small network requires being familiar with the protocols and network applications running over the network. So, protocols analyzers enable a network professional to quickly compile statistical information about traffic flows on a network. So information gathered by the protocol analyzer is evaluated based on the source and destination of the traffic as well as the type of traffic being sent. This analysis can be used by a network technician to make decisions on how to manage the traffic more efficiently. So common network protocols include DNS, Domain Name Service, Telnet, SMTP, POP, DHCP, HTTP, and FTP. It is necessity to consider security threats and vulnerabilities when planning a network implementation. So all network devices must be secured. So this includes routers, switches, and user devices, and even security devices. Network needs to be protected from malicious software such as viruses, Trojan horses, and worms. So antivirus software can detect most viruses and mini Trojan horse application and prevent them from spreading into a network. So the most effective way to mitigate a worm attack is to download security updates from the operating system vendor and patch all vulnerable system. Network must also be protected from a network attack. Network attacks can be classified into three major categories: reconnaissance, access attack, and denial of service. There are several ways to protect a network from attack. So, authentication, authorization, and accounting, or AAA or AAA. Network security services provide a primary framework to set up access control on a network devices. So, AAA is a way to control who is permitted to access a network, authenticate what they can do while they are there authorized, and to watch the action they perform while accessing the network accounting. So a firewall is one of the most effective security tools available for protecting internal network users from external threat. A firewall resides between two or more networks and controls the traffic between them and also help prevents unauthorized access. So to protect network devices, it is important to use strong password also when accessing network devices remotely. It is highly recommended to enable SSH instead of unsecured telnet. So after the network has been implemented, a network administration must be able to monitor and maintain network connectivity. There are several commands available toward this end. For testing network connectivity, two local and remote destination commands such as ping, telnet, and traceroute are commonly used. So on Cisco iOS device, the show version command can be used to verify and troubleshoot some of the basic hardware and software components used during the boot process. So to view information for all the network interfaces on a router, the show IP interface command is used. The show IP interface brief can also be used to view a more abbreviated output than the show IP interface command. So Cisco Discovery Protocol or CDP is a Cisco proprietary protocol that runs at the data link layer. Because of CDP operates at the data link layer, two or more Cisco network devices such as router that support different network layer protocols can learn about each other even if layer 3 connectivity does not exist. Cisco iOS configuration files such as startup config or running config should be archived. These files can be saved to a text file or stored on TFTP servers. Some models are of routers also have USB port and file can be backed up to a USB driver if needed. These files can be copied to the router or switched from the TFT server or USB drive. So now that we have read the summary for the chapter 11 in Attack, which is to build a small network, we're done in this chapter. Hope you like, hope you gain some, hope you learn something about this video, and hope you it will help you to understand what is the build a small network. So thank you guys for watching and God bless you.